Okay, once you have scaled this, the next thing that you need to do is add dimensions. So you can go to your dimension A01 dim. Do I have an A01 dim? Yep. And then start adding dimensions. So let's say I'm going to add a dimension from here, F8, to here. So now I know that this is 11,033.66. Now, an architect will not design that way. He might not create an opening that's that big or with these decimal places. So you are going to round this off. Okay? So, how do you round it off? You can, when you draw this, so you're going to draw your floor plan, let's say here, you're going to draw a line, the distance of which should be maybe 1100. Okay? So instead of 11033, sorry, what happened? Okay, line and say 1100. I ran out of zeros. How many zeros do I have here? Oh, 3 zeros. It's actually 11,000, not 1100. So line 11,000. There you go. So that when in your final project, when you do a dimension, you'll get a whole number. Okay? So when you draw this, you're not going to really trace. You're just going to use this as a guide. And you can trace over if you want, right? You can still trace over if you want, but make sure you type the actual value that you want to use. So 11,000, there you go, right? So it's not as up to the very end of the drawing, but at least you rounded it off. If you want, you can round it off to maybe a little bit more. Maybe instead of 1100, you can say 11,050. Okay? So instead of 11,000, you can say, so closest. Okay? Maybe you can say 11,050. Okay? Now this one will be a little bit bigger, right? But then when you make your dimension, I don't want to see 11,033.66. Okay? Now, maybe that's going to be the dimension based on the drawing, but of course, as much as possible, round it off. Okay? So, like for example here, if I draw this, okay, let's say I'm going to draw a line, an initial line here, F8. Okay. Like so. Okay. And if I check the distance, so it says 8131.63. You need to round it off to maybe 832. 8132. Okay? So when I make my line, you're going to make that 8132. Okay? So that when the time comes that you're going to dimension it, you're going to get full numbers. Or if it's a decimal, or you have some rounded, you rounded off the decimal places as well. Okay? So that's the next step. Add dimension. So right now you're not rounding it off. You're simply adding dimension. So from here to there, okay, that's the dimension. So dimension as many items as you need. This serves as your reference. So I can dimension that. I can dimension this. Okay. so that I know the distances. So I can offset, offset, and then connect, so I can draw it properly. Okay? So exercise 7 is simply inserting the images and then adding dimensions. That's all you need to do. Okay? So when you insert now the elevation, you're going to scale it based on this initial dimension, which I'm going to show next. So let me end this.